Alright, so we're doing something a little bit different today. Usually when we go on safari, we stay over in a camp for 1 or 2 nights and sometimes even multiple parks. But we realize as well that it's not always financially viable for people to do that because camps generally, even the cheap ones, are very expensive. So today we want to show you guys how, particularly if you're on the coast around the Watamu Malindi area, how you can do a 1-day safari without staying over and incurring the big costs.
And we're also going to share the costs of everything with you guys. But we're taking a drive into Tsavo East today. We're going to have a lunch there and then we'll do a bit of a game drive and head back out. So
yes,
that's like less than 12 hours, right?
Let's see.
Very dry here lately, right, Ben?
Oh. Yeah, apparently there's not been rain for a long time, so it's dustier than, I mean, it's usually pretty dusty, but right now it's very dusty.
It's very grey. Just seen a big pride of lions, which is very unusual for Tsavo East. Actually, we've never seen that many, especially just kind of walking to the river. But now they're all sitting by the bush, just laying, chilling. Liz, how amazing was that?
It was super. Just they were there. We were talking about it, and then that was it.
Actually, Malia, you said what animal you're going to find for us, Malia. Malia said lions.
Yeah, and then
I
they
was
came.
like, what are the chances? And
there was a whole pride of them. Yeah.
But there's also something about mums on safaris. When mum came with us,
Your mum.
my mum, she saw a female with 3 cubs. You saw a whole
I've just
pride.
seen a whole pride, so you know.
Yeah, mums on safaris, they're just lucky. Beautiful, huh?
Yeah, we're in a tree there.
We can see the elephants just there. So we're going to have lunch now with this beautiful view. And that's where we were sat earlier in the watchtower so that you can basically just watch the elephants. And we had what, about 40? 30? Yeah.
Easy.
How's Malia's lunch?
Flies are enjoying it.
What did you do?
I just wanted a cuddle.
With a water bucket?
Yeah. That's why he looks confused. Like now he doesn't know where he is.
He's a bit lost, isn't he?
So Satao is one of our favorite camps in Kenya. We've been to quite a few, but it's a really good kind of mid-range camp that's not like completely unaffordable for everybody, but it's supernatural and like, well, not supernatural like ghosts and things, but it's very natural. It's the only camp that's here in Tsavo East that doesn't actually have some sort of fence around it, so we really like how open and wild it is. and still a really nice place to come and grab some lunch. Even if you can't stay here, they do a nice lunch out under the tree right next to the watering hole, and it's just a very peaceful,
Also
natural
super
environment.
accessible, right? So
Yeah, it's really easy to get to. It's signposted on all the main signposts in Tsavo East, and yeah, we just love being here. And we're coming back with, this is where we bring our guests as well. We do run a couple of escapes a year here and bring them to this amazing camp. So, love Tsavo.
so what's the plan now?
Caught me by surprise.
No.
So we've had lunch, we've done coffees, and now it's the slow drive out of the park and heading back, because Tsavo sits about 90 minutes from the gate, give or take, depending on what you see on the way and how long you stop. And then it's, again, 1.5 to 2 hours back to Watamu. So we're looking at a 3 to 4 hour drive to get back.
Let's go.
It's hot.
Malia,
Wait, that's the dad.
Malia, why did the giraffe cross the road?
It's hungry.
Because it was hungry. Alright, so we arrived back safely last night. It's a long day on the road, as it always is when you do safari. Malia, did you have fun on safari yesterday? Or were you too busy brushing your hair for these conversations? She actually spent most of the time sleeping because she's still not feeling 100%. But today she's excited about her birthday party, aren't you? Malia, are you excited about your birthday party? Yes. So yeah, it was a really nice day, and it was a great opportunity to show that you can do a day safari and still see tons of things and have a great time. In terms of cost, some things that we forgot to add in there are things like the park entry, something you have to consider. Now, there's a big difference between if you are a Kenyan citizen versus a non-resident or foreigner. For foreigners, you're looking at paying for Tsavo East, it's $50 per person per day, or per 24-hour period. Whereas for a local, you would only pay 500 shillings, which is the equivalent of just under $5 for the day. Then we stopped at Tsavo camp, which is definitely worthwhile. I would say if you're going to stop anywhere inside the park for lunch or just to relax for a little while, Tsavo camp is 100% worth it. For a lunch at Tsavo camp, you're looking at 2,000 shillings per person, which is just under $20, about $18 per person. Now that's not a cheap lunch, but I would say it's 100% worth it. Just where you get to sit and eat and enjoy your food right next to the watering hole, and it's a beautiful environment, and the staff are really good down there as well. So Tsavo camp for lunch is well worth it. Now there's a couple of ways that you can travel. Obviously, if you have a vehicle, you can self-drive, which would be the cheapest way. We don't have a vehicle. We do usually have the ability to self-drive because there's a car that we rent. However, that wasn't available. So what we did is we hired a van with a driver / guide. The cost of that van and driver was 10,000 shillings for the whole day. Plus you have to add the fuel. So by the time we put fuel in it and we drove around for the whole day, was 18,000 shillings. So that's $160 for the van. See, if there's only 1 or 2 of you, that works out very, very expensive, but you can sit 8 people inside that van, split the cost, and it really doesn't work out too well. So I would say, particularly for Kenyan citizens, if you rented one of these vans, split it between 8 people, you pay your citizen park fees, and then, you know, let's say you splash out on a lunch or something like that, it's still very, very doable to explore these parks within a certain budget. I'm not going to go ahead and say it's cheap, because that's not the case, but if you're prepared to save a little bit and do it as like a special weekend, I think it's well worth it, and I think it's manageable for most people. So that about does it for today. Hope you've enjoyed this vlog, and of course all the usual things. If you did like it, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications, and we will see you next time.